Okay, once again, welcome guys to another episode of Real-Time Fishing Vids. Now unfortunately this time around there are no videos of fishing. As you know, I'm based in Victoria and there's a lockdown. So since stage 4 a few weeks ago, it's been pretty tough being able to go out. But I can only imagine how hard it is for ones who've been kayak fishing for maybe 2 years, 5 years, 10, 15 years, maybe their whole lives, and now all of a sudden they just can't go out on their boat, can't go out kayak fishing, can't even go out fishing. So not an easy time, but it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel, so hopefully soon we can get back out there. So today on the video, I'm wanting to share with you what I take out with me on the kayak. I'm a beginner, so I didn't want to go and get everything that I think I would need when I'm out there. I thought I'd just go out bare minimum first and then find out what I need as I go along. So I have a rod that I'll be showing you at the end, but I'll show you what lures firstly that I take out with me and the hooks. So the hooks that I take out are 2 sizes, and these are the ones that have caught me the most fish. They have been the 1/4 ounce hook. So the 1/4 ounce jig head, and I think it's a size 1/0 hook. So that's the main one that's been catching me the most fish. Pinkies, flathead, and I caught a ling on this once. So that's been the main one. This one here also, so the 2 types, or the 2 weights, a 1/4 ounce, which I just showed you, and the 1/8. The 1/8 is much lighter, so for those days where there isn't much breeze, there isn't too much current, I'll go lighter, and that way I can feel the bite a lot more. So they're the 2 jig head sizes that I go out with, 1/4 ounce and an 1/8 ounce. Now the soft plastics I take with me, there have been 4 that I've bought so far. They've all been Z-Man, and I'll show you one by one in terms of how effective. Oh, someone's at the door. I'll be back. Wouldn't you know it, guys? Of all the times we'd receive a delivery from Kmart, it had to be right now. We had a look at the hooks, so an 1/8 and a 1/4 ounce. Now the lures that I use, and this is in order of the most effective that I've found to date, and I've only been out a few times. So this has by far been the most effective. This is the curly tail. These are all Z-Man. This is the curly tail in motor oil. It's called the Streaks. It's got the curly tail. It's a 4-inch, and I normally put this onto the 1/4 or the 1/8 ounce, depending on how strong the current is and how strong the wind is too. This has been the most effective. Flathead, pinkies, and I'm hoping if we're allowed to start fishing again by mid-September, which will be start or early snapper season, I'm hoping to see what size snapper or pinky this will catch me. So that's been the most effective. The next one, as to effectiveness, I would say, has been the electric chicken. So this is the same style. It's the Streaks curly tail in the Z-Man range, but it's electric chicken is the color. That was working very, very well too. So that's been awesome. So they're both 4-inch in size, probably the most effective. Okay. Now going one down has been the 3-inch pearl blue glimmer. So this has been not bad. I'm not sure how realistic this looks as a bait fish. I think the other 2 look a bit more real. This one, because it's white, maybe it doesn't work as well. I have caught some fish on this, but I've still found these ones to be more effective, the other 2 that I showed you. And then lastly, I felt for a while that I wasn't getting enough, that I was landing. I was getting a lot of bites, so I went to a sort of a smaller profile. This is the Slim Swims Bloodworm, and this has been not bad, but I haven't really tried it enough. Now, as you'll see, the Slim Swims and the minnows, that tail requires a bit more action on your part. So maybe because I'm not experienced enough, I'm not giving it enough action. Whereas the curly tail, even if you're a beginner, the way that thing sinks and the way this tail goes, you can't compare it. So I think I'll be sticking to the curly tails from now on, for sure. So that's the hooks, that's the lures. Now I was given some Munro lures to try, and I'll show you one. This one here, this is a 4-inch. As you'll see though, the Munro, the stretch about there, and it will start sort of ripping, and you'll see that it's ripped already from fish that have actually that I've caught fish on. Now they catch fish, but I still find that because the Z-Man have got a lot more give, I mean look at that, they still last a bit longer. The Z-Man though is double the price. So Munros work, Z-Man work. Munros last maybe a bit shorter time, but they're half the price. I think $5.50 for 10 of them or something like that. So definitely worth considering if you're on a budget to go for the Munro plastics. Also guys, one more thing is why you should always store your soft plastics back into an airtight bag. With the Z-Man, they come with an airtight container or bag. Look at what happened to this one. And this is what happens when you leave it in a bag that's a bit watery, a bit of salt water, maybe a bit of Procure still left on there, a bit of pressure, there was something laying on it. This is what happened to it. So just an example of take care of your plastics. If you're using them, keep them in an airtight container, but also make sure there's no water in there or liquid, because they will dissolve. Just be very, very careful, guys, with the way you store your soft plastics. So apart from the 2 size hooks that I carry, the 1/4 ounce and the 1/8 ounce, and the 4 lures that I have with me now, I also carry with me 35 meters of 10-pound fluorocarbon leader, and this is Black Magic. So this is one of the better known fluorocarbon leaders. That's been awesome, and I cannot see this underwater. When I'm taking my lure out, I can't even see the line, so that's been awesome. I'll normally put about 2 meters, 1.5 meters at the end attached to my braid. So I'll take that out with me in case I have a break. Also, I take my scaler. This scaler, eventually I probably want to clean the fish that's legally allowed. I'm legally allowed to clean. I'll probably start cleaning my fish out there on the water, maybe when I land among the rocks there. I know flathead you can't do that, but I'm pretty sure pinkies, snapper you can clean on the shore. So I take my scaler with me, and I'll show you a video of that one day, the way I clean, scale, and get the fish prepped. Also guys, here is my filleting knife. Now, these are pretty expensive. If you go to a store like, just your normal tackle shop, they could go up to $60, $70, $80, sometimes $100, $120. This one's from Kmart, and it's been really, really good. Very, very sharp. It comes with its own plastic thing so that you can hold it, you can put it in there. Very sharp, and does the job for now. So I haven't actually filleted a fish with it. I have gutted fish and sort of cleaned it, also scaled with it, but it is a very sharp knife, and I think it'll do well even when filleting. So I'll do a bit more of I'll show you a bit more of what this knife is capable of doing, maybe in my next filleting video. Actually, when I was trying to find a filleting knife, they were also so expensive. So my wife, she loves Kmart, she loves shopping there. So she said, Mark, why don't you try Kmart? And I said, Kmart, I don't think they're going to have a filleting knife. I went there, they had it, and it's been really, really good. So, and I only bought it for $6 from Kmart. So that was a pretty good buy. I also have this that I'll be taking out with me too, a squid jig. This is a 3.5. And I'll be going for squid soon, so hopefully I'll get a few videos of that out. I also have my lip grips, just in case it's needed. Now these aren't the best lip grips. I got them from Kmart. I got this from Kmart too. Not the best, but it does the job. Sometimes I've got to sort of put a bit of pressure on there so it can really hang on to the fish's lip, especially if it's a bigger one, but not bad. So that's been working okay. I'll take that out with me too. I have also some braid scissors in case I need to re-rig while I'm out there. And then lastly, I have Procure. So I always add Procure on to my lures. That increases chances of the fish knowing it's around. They can smell it. So not only are they seeing it, but they can smell the scent. I think that's very important. A lot of others that I've seen on YouTube that do the same thing, and the results are awesome. So I've always used Procure when I'm fishing out there. This is the crawfish. Crawfish has been awesome, very good, and it's been very effective with pinky, with a few lings that I've caught, and also the flathead. I've always used the crawfish super gel or Procure. But also, because of lockdown, what's happened, I think this comes from the States. So because it's from the States, they've been a bit low on Procure. You may have realized that too. So the crawfish had finished, I bought the squid. This was finishing, so I bought the squid one. So we'll see how the squid scent goes. I'm pretty sure it'll be just as good. And then lastly, guys, there is my rod. So this is the Katana Shimano reel. It's a 2500 reel. And then you've got the actual rod, which is a Phantom X. It's a Daiwa rod, and it's it's a 2 to 4 kilo, and it's I think a 6'1" rod. But this has been awesome. This has been really, really good. And I hear that it's also pretty good if you're going squidding too, and for those heavier snapper if I come into them. So going 1.5, 2 kilo fish, even a bit more than that, this rod will do more than the job. So I take this out with me, one rod only. Lastly, this is with the help of my wife, so I'll grab the lure. Thank you, darling. So I leave my lure on the rod. If I'm fishing every second day or once a week, I'll leave it on there instead of cutting and then re-rigging. So what I've found is just wrapping it with Glad Wrap has allowed it just to stay moist, and it still has that bounce in it. It doesn't wreck the lure while it's in storage. So at the end of this episode, what I'll do, thank you for the lure. So at the end of this video, what I'll do is I'll have a few snapshots of everything that I take out. Now lastly, I put all of this into this. So this came with the Kayak that I have at the moment, and it's just a zip pocket that I just put everything in. Now that is not the most ideal. I would love to have some sort of separation with my lures, maybe with my hooks, with my Procure. I have it somewhere. All the odds and ends like my braid scissors and my lip grips, have them separate too. There's no way to store it on the Kayak, so I'm thinking of maybe ditching this eventually and getting maybe a few plastic containers where I can keep everything a bit more organized. But pretty much, guys, that's all I take out, and it has been so much fun getting out there, catching some fish, taking it back, and enjoying a fresh feed of fish straight out of the bay. So guys, hopefully this lockdown is over soon. We can get back into it. In the meantime, what some have been doing, they've just been making the most of this time. Maybe it's spending more time with your spouse, your husband, your wife, your children. Some have also been buying up on some lures or some things in their kit, their toolbox that they need for when they get out there, so that when restrictions are lifted, you can get straight back out there and enjoy your fishing. So thanks for watching, everyone, and next video I'm going to probably have a look at my rod a bit closer. Now what happened after a few times of using my rod is that the reel started playing up and it started sticking. There was salt water splashing onto it, and I didn't realize that only after a few times your reel could go. So I might show you how I was able to fix that, and it's almost back to brand new now. So I'll show you that next time. Anyway, in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching another episode of Real Time Fishing Vids.